7:43. Welcome back to BT on the Couch. Chris Cull, founder of Inspire by Example, an important message and conversation when it comes to addiction and recovery, and the focus being opioids. Tell us about this and why this is such a personal cause for you.
It's a personal cause for me because I've went through it. I spent 2 years using 580 milligram Oxycontins a day. Went on a harm reduction program for 5 years, but fortunately I was able to get out of it after a very hard, long battle. So,
you know, this issue of opioids, I think it's a very interesting one culturally speaking, because some there could be prescribed drugs involved and there's a dependency to recover, and then some there's the stigma associated with addiction. Tell us about your message and that difference between addiction and dependency.
Well, my message is more to provide a sense of hope of what could be. I mean, it's not the end of your life. You can get past it and go on and do great things. And between dependency and addiction, they are two separate things, but they work hand in hand with one another. But again, going back on my message, I think it's important that we educate people and break down this crazy notion that it's not cool to talk about it, because educating yourself and others about it and sharing our stories openly allows other people to talk about it, so we can start tackling this problem and realize how big of the problem is. There's over 400,000 Canadians that are affected by this, and we really need to start taking this problem seriously. But a good place for education would be ORbeOK.ca, powered by Indivior, and that gives you all the information pertaining what opiates do to the body, to resource locator, to a test that you can do to figure out if yourself or a loved one is opiate dependent.
And this came at great sacrifice for you. At 22 years old, you experienced something very personal, and you have a very powerful mantra about building a new foundation and hitting rock bottom.
Yeah, addiction stripped everything almost away from me. But in that being said, it gave me an opportunity to mold my life back up into what I wanted it to be. And I wanted to show people that it's possible. And I did a ride. I biked across Canada last summer, filming a documentary. And I'd only been off opiates for a couple months at that point. So I hadn't ridden a bike in 8 years. I had no experience in film, journalism, public speaking, public relations, and it was quite the learning curve. But I just want to show people what's possible.
And what were some of the conversations that you had? I mean, we see a bit of this documentary right now. When you're going across the country, you're talking about this message that's very personal of what you've lost, the 7-year journey that you've gone through to recover. What did you find of how people would respond and what they were struggling with as well?
I found a lot of people... It's very hard to tackle this problem because a lot of people aren't comfortable talking about the worst moments of their life on camera, or in general for that matter. But the people who I did speak with were everything from people in recovery to people still struggling, to parents who've lost their children, to addictions counselors, to harm reduction professionals, and so forth. But this problem, I found the common thing was that everybody thinks it's a problem in their community, but it's a problem in every community. And it's just, when you hear that consistent answer across the whole country, it's a problem that needs to be seriously addressed in a better way than it is. And
you've been to Vancouver several times, kind of connecting with the community about this issue. You founded Inspire by Example. Tell us about the organization and how this can help people. If someone is suffering from addiction, if opioids has affected them directly, how can they get involved, and what will these resources do for them?
Well, I think the first step to solving any problem is recognizing there is one, and the website ORbeOK.ca is a good place to go to in order to find that. And in terms of Inspire by Example, I just wanted to provide a sense of hope because when you factor in over the 400,000 Canadians, and then you factor in the friends and families that are affected, that number's in the millions. But like I said, we need to start discussing this a lot more than it currently is, because the numbers are growing, and as the numbers grow, it becomes an epidemic at that point. And one of the best things I think you said out of your story reading is rock bottom can be the best place to build a new foundation. I think those are powerful words, and you've created this documentary. When can people see it? When is it going to hit the film circuit to get out to the masses? Just submitted it to Sundance, so fingers crossed. But doing film festivals over the winter. I'm doing another bike ride across Canada next summer, so pitching a TV show for it, actually, which is pretty exciting. But and then I'm hoping to have the film ready for distribution in May when I start my ride. So it's pretty crazy year lined up. So
keep hustling for the message. Chris, thanks for coming on and sharing
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a break right now. Watch this coming up on the other side. Lots more to come on this Monday morning. Stay tuned on BT.